First off, we have to start today's show with a big thank you, I'm sorry. How much gravy do you want on your poutine, and do you want cream with your Timmies? If that sentence doesn't make sense to you at all, you're either not Canadian or you're a Canadian who is now legally high as fuck. Because Wednesday, after what seemed like an extremely long time for such a friendly and chill country, Canada became the first major world economy to completely legalize recreational marijuana.
After almost 20 years of having marijuana for medical use, and with some parts of the country looking the other way when it comes to recreational consumption, the entire country is now free to smoke all the weed they want, which should bring a gigantic boon to their economy. Now that you're already booking your trip up to the Great White North, which you should visit anyway for its friendly people, hilarious comedies, and absolutely stunning natural beauty, now what are the rules for legal weed up in our neighbor to the north?
All right, well, that's where it gets a little bit tricky because it depends on the province.
What's a province?
It's like a big
Sounds
state.
like a big state.
According to a report by the New York Times, in some parts of Canada, you'll have to go to a government-run store. In others, they can be run privately. Sometimes it'll be both.
Wait, so I gotta buy weed from a cop? Nah.
There's currently no widespread law regarding the sale of marijuana at bars or restaurants, but apparently you can order weed from websites for delivery.
That's ideal.
Yeah, the amount of THC found in legal weed there will be a little bit lower than the stuff you'd typically get from your old dealer, if the dealer was any good.
I'm great with that too.
Edibles, dabs, and all that stuff is still against the law, but only until next year.
You guys, you gotta learn how to make weed oil or weed butter. It's the easiest fucking thing in the world. You get a pot, you get a stick of butter, you throw your weed in there, but you gotta make sure to add about a cup of water in there as well. And you just wait until the water cooks off, and then you pour it into a nice little Tupperware mold, toss it in the fridge, wait about half a day, you got yourself some weed butter, and then the real fun starts, because you can get straight to baking.
It's a cool crime.
Just be sure you measure your shit.
And do it in a place where it's still legal.
Do it at home.
Yeah.
In some provinces, you can now smoke anywhere that you could previously smoke cigarettes. And in Halifax, there's actually a website where you can look up designated toking areas.
Yeah.
Is that what they call it officially?
Pretty much, yeah.
Grams of weed will be as cheap as 7 loonies.
Which is like $5.
That's like $5.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be able to possess, carry, and share up to 30 grams, which is a lot.
Yeah.
But that's as long as you're an adult. Probably should mention the legal age for smoking fat doinks up there. You pretty much have to be 19 years old to legally smoke reefer in Canada, with the one exception being Quebec, where they've knocked a year off so you can blaze it at just 18. We're more open with our consumption. The children, they start drinking wine at dinner when they are 12, 11, 10, 9 years old.
Although, it's reported that the age might be raised to 21 since, Quebec's newly elected government.
Bleu!
They went ahead and said that. I know, as for pot cafes, like the kind that you would see in Amsterdam, not yet, but at least not in a big way.
We don't even have that. I don't think Colorado even has that.
But what's the big deal, you might be asking yourself if you live in Maine, Vermont, Massachusetts, Colorado, Washington, Oregon, Nevada, Alaska, or California? Well, this is an entire country legalizing it, and sure, pot might be legal here or in those other states at a local level, but it's still a federal crime.
But that's half the fun.
Plus, Canada will be a great test as to whether a large country sees any negative effects as a whole or what kind of issues that they run into. They did say, like last week, they're like, don't worry, we're prepared for the amount of weed that people are going to be buying. Have no fear, citizens.
Yeah, they don't want a Las Vegas situation where they're like,
State of emergency.
state of emergency. We need to bend the rules a little bit
To get more weed
get
in.
more weed in here.
Now, also, Canada is currently working out a system for pardoning criminals who wouldn't have actually committed a crime if this policy had been in place, which is great because it would be incredibly frustrating to be sitting in jail for a couple of grams of weed while you're basically getting hotboxed through the window by the rest of your country legally.
Yeah, and this is still a big problem here in the States,
Yeah.
including our own, and there's like laws in the works for it, and it's just like, what's the problem here?
Yeah.
These people,
If it's not a crime
the law.
anymore.
Yeah, it's like, it's fucking dumb. Like if their crime involved other crimes, then sure, factor that in, but like, fuck that.
Yeah,
Let them
so
out.
It's good to see that Canada is approaching that immediately right out of the gate.
Yeah,
And
that's
while
a big fucking thing, because it's so like, you see a lot of people criticizing this on like Twitter and Facebook, where it's like, oh, like suburban moms are getting all into like weed yoga, and then people are like
in jail going, what the fuck?
My brother's been in prison for like 2 years for like 3
Possession,
grams.
yeah.
What the fuck?
So good to see that they're doing that. Hi, Canadian viewers.
Hi.
Enjoy your pot.
We can tell how high you are, and we're calling the Mounties on you.
And they're going to be like,
hey, why don't you share some of that?
But let's move on from something that should probably be legal everywhere to something that shouldn't be. And of course, we're talking about Facebook.
Ban it.
The service that was meant to bring people together, but actually might have ruined the world. Now, temporarily putting aside our hatred of Facebook for societal reasons, it's time to focus on yet another reason that we hate it so much. And I'm sorry if you're, these guys, we get it, you hate Facebook, but
as a big Facebooker, I'm offended.
Now, we've constantly given shit to Facebook for both publicly and privately being, in ours and many others' opinions, one of the biggest factors in the downfall of digital shows, creators, and content that you've enjoyed over the past decade or so. And now, they're being sued over some of the viewing metrics that potentially contributed to that downfall.
Yeah, so to give you another heads up in case we've just, made offhanded comments or you haven't seen any of our other previous videos where we mention it, or our drunk tweets ranting about it, I guess we should start on the Google funding thing again, but we'll be brief. Early on during the growth of YouTube, their parent company, Google, ended up providing funding to digital networks, from MCNs to digital arms of traditional outlets. They were just throwing money around. Google gave millions of dollars to these outlets so that they could produce higher quality shows and content so that YouTube could establish itself as something more than a place to just watch fail videos and vlogs and cats and dogs. During this time, talented people were brought in to create stuff and build audiences. But once the Google gravy train went dry, and they just stopped giving the money, all those places that they would now have to rely on ad revenue and sales teams to continue making money, which is harder than a major corporation just being like,
here you go
crazy with it.
Now, competition between platforms started up shortly after this, with various things launching and really leaning into specifically their video portions. Vessel being one, which tried to take people away from Google or from YouTube and put it behind a paywall. Stuff like Go90, Samsung Milk, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter. A lot of these were obviously around during the rise of YouTube, but didn't really lean into it as much or had their specific niche. Basically, those and anything else that you've seen over the past decade or so that you could think of, they were all throwing money around in order to plant their flag in the war for eyeballs in online video. Companies and networks would often just chase around whatever new video service could provide money and views, while at the same time taking their focus off of what they built on YouTube. Whether that was by completely getting rid of entire productions or by forcing those productions to move exclusively to different platforms while attempting to keep the audience that was built somewhere else, it depends on what company or network you're looking at.
Yeah, so there have been a ton of shows and creators that have disappeared or have seen their numbers dwindle over the years because of this, and because of the amount of places that you can watch videos has seen a surge. How can I hold all of these streaming services? Now, since we're talking specifically about Facebook here, though, let's just say that the most appealing thing about Facebook for creators, and specifically companies, really, was the absolute insane viewership numbers.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Look at these numbers.
It almost didn't make sense. You could put a video on YouTube where you already had an established audience and you'd get a respectable amount of viewership. Or you could go put a video on Facebook and just get millions, if not tens of million views in a matter of days for the exact same thing. Or maybe just a video made into a shareable meme with some block text. How was this happening?
So the actual reason why everyone saw these astronomical numbers was, I guess we could personally boil it down to two reasons that we saw. The content itself was distilled down into something that is literally just referential or shareable. Videos that everyone could agree with or felt nostalgic about, or videos that you didn't agree with and had to leave a comment on, or just straight up freebooting content, which means stealing it from places like YouTube, editing it down, or explaining how the user will feel about it in that kind of block text thing.
Plus the video, when it tells you to share, you have to share.
You gotta do it. So these types of videos are, like Elliot just explained, highly shareable, and Facebook makes that super easy, regardless of whether or not the person you're sharing it with actually wants to see it. It'll just end up in their timeline regardless.
What a mess of a website. Then the second reason, which also piggybacks off that whole easily shareable thing, is that videos were getting millions and millions of views, but on Facebook, no two views are equal. And a view might not have actually really been a view after all, because Facebook, in their divine wisdom, which is now being called to court, decided that, first of all, videos should autoplay, and also that a view for a video on their platform was counted if the video played for something for like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
3 fucking seconds.
1, 2, 3.
Seen it. So basically, if someone shared a video with someone or Facebook's algorithm thought that you might like a video, it would show up in your timeline. And even if you literally just scrolled past it, but just slow enough to where it was on your screen for 3 whole seconds, boom, you just gave that video a view. If you scrolled by, saw it, got interested in it for 3 or more seconds, but didn't even finish it, then continued scrolling, that also counted as a view.
Yeah.
Despite not being the same.
Yeah, if you watched an entire video, that's 1 view. If someone scrolled past, that's 1 view. Because of this, Facebook video became the premier location for brands, networks, creators, and everyone else involved in digital media to focus on. And thanks to Facebook's built-in ad feature, anyone could easily boost the amount of views their video got for literally fucking pennies. I remember when we first launched Idiots Watching Anime, which, by the way, we are filming a new episode soon. I put $25 into Facebook to be like, hey, here's the intro to the show. If you like anime or if you want to watch 2 people that have no idea about it, complain about it, come click through this. The $25 got, I think, like 65,000 views on Facebook and about 18 clicks. So not really worth it unless you just care about views and hitting those marks for a creator or if you're a company. Now, that doesn't matter though, that if you get those views, it doesn't matter if anyone clicked or commented or liked the page related to the video got the views. Obviously, people in boardrooms and advertisers desperate to gain customers through Facebook's amazing video platform, views of this magnitude, they were incredibly tantalizing. And considering that the success of your show, or if you're an advertiser, your marketing effort, are all completely based solely, most of the time, on how many views you got, Facebook was a quick way to prove that whatever you were doing was a success. So, boom. No more of your favorite shows or creators on YouTube, or they moved to other platforms, or their channel lost focus, lost audience, it split somewhere, or whatever else.
Yeah, wow.
It's very frustrating. The news with the courtroom stuff and the
this affected a lot of people we know.
Yes,
we managed to mostly avoid it.
But so not the courtroom. It goes to court December 14th. But this filing has peeled a bandage off of people who work in newsrooms, people who worked at MCNs, people who worked at bigger networks that had digital outreach, people that made their own content. It was, people are very upset about this because it was like finally someone came out and said that this was bullshit instead of like.
But we knew.
Everyone
kind of knew how this fucking worked.
Yeah.
Like when it, oh God, I remember like working at a major online media company being told like, oh my God, guys.
Why are you on Facebook?
We moved all this guy's videos over to Facebook and they're doing 10 times better. I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
There's no way that's true.
Also,
the
how many
numbers
comments
are bullshit.
yeah.
So anyway, okay, that was a long-winded and a bit angry sounding so far, but that's because we lived it. We witnessed it all around us. Everywhere, at every MCN, at every digital outlet, everywhere. Luckily, because we've always said, fuck Facebook and fuck chasing all these new platforms, and decided to just stick completely with YouTube despite its various and sometimes infuriating shortcomings, luckily for that, we have maintained what we think is the most important part of doing a show, you, the person watching the show, the audience.
Yes.
We might not get the most amazing view count, and that's
fine,
but we literally left a company, made a new channel, and you followed. That's what's important, not chasing fake views at some other platform for perceived and almost always temporary success.
Yeah, now back to that fake views comment, and the reason that we bring this up after that explanation. According to documents filed and reports from outlets like The Wall Street Journal, The Verge, and Ars Technica, Facebook is now getting sued over their view metric bullshit. And yeah, it's not some kind of class action lawsuit from creators who either lost their jobs, their audience, or just pissed about all the fake views that will no longer prop their shit up. It's from people with lots of money who can afford to take on a company like Facebook, the advertisers.
Yeah, big surprise there. So say you're an advertiser. You're sitting back, smoking your cigar,
drinking your whiskey
at
work.
Penthouse, yeah. And you're using Facebook to promote your company or product through a video that you've made or a sponsorship that you've initiated with a network or content creator. So you're there, you're comfy. You see these huge numbers on whatever you're marketing, and you think, well, hot damn, what a success. Now my boss will love me because of my wildly successful campaign, and tons of people are gonna use our product or service. But, come to find out, Facebook not only has a weird, I would say misleading and dishonest way of counting.
You could say that, but that would be allegedly saying it.
No, it's dishonest. There's nothing alleged about it. They lied. They lied about what a view is. They literally redefined the word view as it is commonly understood in the English language. But they might have actually had an error in reporting performance and decided not to fix it so that they could, allegedly, keep bringing in content and advertisers who enjoy those big view numbers.
Yeah. So here's from the article that was posted on The Verge. Facebook knew about inaccuracies in the video viewership metrics that it provided to advertisers and brands for more than a year, according to documents filed as part of a potential class action lawsuit on Tuesday. Advertisers were duped into focusing on the social network under the belief that people were spending more time watching on Facebook than other video platforms. The inflated data also led many media organizations to put an emphasis on Facebook video and chase views to the detriment of other editorial efforts. It's almost like the things that we've been saying for years were true.
Tired of being right all the time. Now on to that inflated data though. So according to reporting from the Wall Street Journal, Facebook told some advertisers that it likely overestimated average time spent watching videos by between 60 and 80%. Whoops! The plaintiffs alleged in Tuesday's complaint that the error was much larger and that the average viewership metrics had been inflated by some 150 to 900%.
Wow.
Fuck. Now, Facebook also said at the time that the error didn't affect billings.
But it goes into say about that is it didn't affect billings, but companies were also under the impression that these were doing better than they were, so they kept buying more.
Right.
So they alleged that, yeah, it kind of did affect billings because we wouldn't have paid for something knowing that it wasn't going to perform as well as we thought it would.
If you're making decisions based on data, and the data is bullshit,
potentially,
you're gonna make bad decisions. So the actual court filing itself also alleges that while Facebook knew that they'd fucked up and informed some advertisers of this, they didn't immediately fix it. Here's what it says.
In June 2016, a Facebook engineering manager finally followed up on advertiser complaints dating back to early 2015.
Wow.
Writing that somehow there was no progress on the task for a year.
Wow.
But even once it was decided to take action on the metrics, Facebook did not promptly fix its calculation or disclose that the calculation was wrong. Instead, it continued reporting miscalculated viewership metrics for another several months, as it developed a no PR strategy to avoid drawing attention to the error. The company decided to obfuscate the fact that we screwed up the math by quietly retiring the erroneous metrics and replacing them with corrected metrics under a new name. For instance, average view duration of video viewed would be replaced with average watch time.
That's gaslighting. They gaslit you all. What are you talking about? Your videos must not be as good as they used to be.
Those stats were right here all along.
And finally, as reported by Ars Technica, the plaintiff's attorneys added this. Facebook did not wish to draw scrutiny to its viewership figures because it knows that the majority of video ads on its platform are viewed for very short periods of time. Users scroll right past. If advertisers were more widely aware of this fact, and in particular, if they knew that their advertisements were among those that were not drawing viewers' attention, they would be less likely to continue buying video advertising from Facebook.
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, I'd like to point out that obviously not this company because they're very pissed and the people that they represent are very pissed, but I'm sure that there's a large portion of advertising and marketing people that knew all along what a view counted for and just wanted those big numbers so that when they gave a after campaign report to their boss, they could say, well, look, it got 20 million views. It's not my fault that the people didn't click on it.
I mean, or they could have tried to get their boss to understand the real meaning of
that's
all
your
this.
job.
I just get me views. I need views.
Yeah.
But the views don't mean what you think they mean.
It doesn't matter.
I said bring me a view.
Yeah.
Don't come back to my office without a view.
Yes.
Okay, now of course Facebook has responded to these allegations and denied any wrongdoing by saying that they made advertisers aware of this discrepancy. But we are so curious how this whole lawsuit will play out in the courts when it goes to trial on December 14th. I'm more excited for this than I am for any of the big movie releases.
Early Christmas. Yeah, so like I said, this has been a thing that's been a thorn in the side of many for a long time. So it's good to see that it's finally getting traction publicly.
Companies adjusted their entire content strategies.
Yeah.
They pivoted all of their shit to Facebook because we get more views on Facebook. Abandoning their platforms on places like YouTube.
It's also a big problem on Twitch right now specifically because advertisers look at Twitch and they're like, why would I want, even like someone huge, say like Summit or Shroud or Ninja, it's like, even on the high end, like, why would I want to sponsor this when it's only getting 80 to 100,000 views, obviously right there, when I can go put this on Facebook and get 20 million views? And it's like, well, obviously because, first of all, that's 100,000 people watching live right at that second.
Actually engaged.
Yeah, and they're engaged in the creator or the thing that they're watching, which is going to be a much better return on whatever you're fucking promoting. But again, it just goes back to the whole thing of, I can only assume this, but people, it's a very easy metric to show your manager or your boss to prove that you're doing your job and it's not your fault if no one's clicking it. Or,
guys, if you want the maximum number of views, you just get one of those airplanes up in the sky that can write words with the chemtrails.
Yeah, and it works just fine.
Millions of views.
Yeah, but it's like if you say you're a company promoting a movie and you're like, but the trailer got 1 billion views on Facebook and we only made $20 million opening weekend.
Cool.
Weird. It's a very dumb, stupid thing, and sorry we had to go off on it, but it's something that is important to all digital creators out there.
It's personal.
We made it personal. Anyways, if you want more tech news, we released a brand new episode of Tech News Day yesterday. Elliot, tell them what's about.
There's another Trump dating website, and you shouldn't use it.
Yeah.
Not for political reasons, for tech reasons.
Yeah.
Also, Saudi Arabia is very bad. But you're smart, so you knew that already.
Yeah. And don't forget to watch Monday's episode as well. We'll put both of them right over here so you can click them. Don't forget to go to the Patreon, patreon.com/internet today, and support. Find out which tier is right for you. And we're potentially going to be doing a Jackbox stream on YouTube, of all places. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
So keep an eye out for that. We're going to post about it. Jackbox. And Patreon supporters, they get first crack at joining the games.
Jackbox.
Bye.